Hey guys, this is Smithy. Today is a palette collection as well as a declutter video. I have a lot in front of me. This is not even in the frame. I have 223 palettes total. I want to be very cutthroat on the palettes that I really want to get rid of and the palettes that I want to keep with me. It's going to be difficult because eyeshadow palette is the category that I absolutely adore and love with my whole heart. So let's begin and see where we land. But let's begin. I am going to start off with Floraces. I have a few palettes from them. This is pretty much like a collector's item. I really like this palette. I am going to keep this. So let's keep that. Then we have this Ladybug Glow. This is their initial palette. I'm going to get rid of this. I only kept this palette because of these two multi-chromes. But I don't think I need the need to keep this palette right now. So I'm going to declutter that. Next, we have the Lovesick palette from Wicked Widow Beauty. Now, Wicked Widow Beauty has a lot of palettes that I absolutely love and adore. Am I reaching out for this palette? No, I'm going to declutter this. Okay, let's move on. Next, we have the Trick Raw Treat palette. Again, another palette that I absolutely love, but I'm not reaching out for this. I'm going to get rid of this. Next, we have the Wicked Widow Beauty Graveyard Smash palette. I really love, even the palette that I decluttered, the Lovesick palette, I feel like this has more shadows that I wear. Oh my gosh. There are bits and pieces that I would love to keep, and there are bits and pieces that I would not keep. Like I can get rid of this. I don't mind that. But I want to keep this. What are we doing? Okay, let's keep this in the maybe, okay? I'm struggling, clearly struggling here. Let's check these two Floraces palette. There's a burgundy one which I absolutely love, so I'm going to keep that for sure. The next one is this. This is also a very pretty palette. But am I reaching out for this is the question. This is the Soaring Sunlight palette. There was another palette that I've not used and I have already put in the declutter pile to give it out to friends and family. Yeah, I'm going to keep this. Next, let's talk about these two palettes. This is Murky Waters from Ladybug Glow. Shimmers, beautiful. Oh my gosh, I am going to struggle. And Everyday Neutrals I still use. I'm going to keep that for sure. This one. I'm not a big fan of green and blue. You guys know that. But these shimmers are extraordinarily beautiful. Okay, I'm keeping this. Keeping that. I am going to struggle, you guys. Okay, let's see. What's this? Sunset Beach. MBA Cosmetics and Deandra Nicole collaboration. It's pretty much like a pink purple. I'm going to declutter this. I don't use that much. So let's declutter that. Don't forget to smile. It's a beautiful Sugar Drizzle palette, an all shimmer palette. I'm going to keep this. Red Panda is one among my favorite Sugar Drizzle palette for like neutral lovers. Going to keep that too. What's this? Plumeria Dragon palette from Sugar Drizzle. I'm going to declutter this. It's not a palette that I reach out for. This one. It's another Ladybug Glow palette, which is Criatura. Very unique color story. But I'm not reaching out for these tones, so I'm going to declutter this. Next, we have a bunch of Alter Ego palettes. And these are the palettes that I do not have the dupe palettes for. Keeping this. This is Natasha Denona Gold dupe. Sahara, which is Natasha Denona Bieber dupe, and Canyon, which is Natasha Denona Bronze dupe. So I'm going to keep all three of these. I've already decluttered the rest of the Alter Ego palettes. I feel okay with it. Okay, Glamlite. I don't have many palettes from Glamlite, but Dirty Martini, I don't reach out for this palette at all now. I used to love this palette with my whole heart, but I'm going to declutter this. This palette, the Chocolate Martini palette, I absolutely used to love this palette, but again, not using it now, so I'm going to declutter this. If somebody else can get used out of, then let's do that. Next we have the Glamlite Michaela palette, very colorful palette. I'm not using it enough, so no longer holding on to it. Let's declutter that. So Jaded palette. I actually got this after a long time, but I'm not reaching out for this one bit. I'm gonna declutter this. Talking about ColourPop, let's do the rest of the two ColourPop palette. This is a custom ColourPop that I put in that Stove palette. I still reach out for these like super shock shadows, but again, there are aspects that I would mix and match. Why don't we do that? Let's just do that. The things that I would not wear, why am I keeping that? I love this palette from this is the Raw Beauty Christie collaboration with ColourPop, the At Forest Sight palette. I'm gonna take that away instead of this. Keep that. Let's keep it here. I can rearrange, no worries. Used to love this puffball shade. I'm gonna take that instead of this. I can take this out too in place of Fiddlehead. I think that is it. I'm gonna keep this version with me, and I am going to declutter this version of At Forest Sight palette because I'm not going to use it. That's another portion. If the palettes are customizable and magnetic, I would rather keep the shades that I really like. This is a gorgeous palette from MBA Cosmetics, Synergy palette. I'm going to keep that. Next palette, we have Iridescent Bubbles, again from MBA Cosmetics, a beautiful all shimmer palette. I was very impressed by that. I have a few more quads from MBA Cosmetics, so let's see those. Okay, we have Enchanted Moon, stunning palette. Witch's Reign, I was not that impressed with Witch's Reign, so I'm going to declutter this. This is all single shadows. I'm not even accounting this. These are all MBA Cosmetics single shadows. And this one was from the Jewel Tone, the Spellbound Forest quad from MBA Cosmetics, keeping that too. Okay. Okay. Now, let's move on. Sugar Drizzle. This is such a beautiful palette. MILF palette. I'm going to keep this. We have Floresta palette from Ladybug Glow. I absolutely love these tones so much. Rest, not so much. Okay, I'm going to declutter that. Okay, let's get the other bunch out. Trashed palette, amazing formula. Keeping that. Indigo Dreams, not keeping this. Not my cup of color story. This is from Poppy and Fluff Cosmetics. There were again aspects that I really like. These shimmers are gorgeous, but I don't want to keep it for those shimmers, so I'm going to declutter that. Then we have It's Spell Cosmetics under the Full Moon palette, beautiful palette. Pixie Grove, very stunning palette. I love It's Spell Cosmetics formula. I know they're not a brand anymore, but I'm going to keep that. Okay. We have Fruity Realm palette. I don't have much neon palettes with me, but this performs really well, so I'm going to keep this. Break the Rules palette was my first It's Spell palette that I absolutely loved. I'm going to keep this. Flare Collection Remixed palette. Another, can you see the pan? I hardly ever have pans in my palettes. Krampus Continued palette. Absolutely loved this shadow. I'm going to declutter this. Cursed Moon from MBA Cosmetics. Beautiful palette. Keeping that. Bloom palette from MBA Cosmetics. Amazing color story for springtime. Keeping that. Black Hat Society. Beautiful color story again. Keeping that. Pumpkin Kisses and Autumn Wishes. Keeping that. Okay. And then we have this one from MBA Cosmetics. Single Shadows Just Taste in Paradise palette. Keeping that. Beautiful, beautiful palette. Okay. Now, let's move on to this side of the section. MBA Cosmetics Moonlit Marsh. There's stunning shimmers in this. I'm going to declutter this. I don't use mattes as much from that palette, so let's declutter that. Then we have from Hindash Cosmetics. We have the Monochromance palette and the Beautopsy palette. Beautopsy, I still use it even today. And Monochromance is also a stunning, stunning palette. Don't want to declutter this. I feel like it's not my favorite, but I do use it, so I'm not going to declutter that. From ABH, we have the Amrizi palette. Hardly ever use it. I'm going to declutter this. Oh my gosh. It's an era that's going away. It feels like that. Also from ABH, I have the Subculture palette. I'm going to declutter that. Oh my gosh. This is how my channel started. I'm not going to declutter this, okay? This has so much of memories attached to it. I cannot. Subculture, decluttering. Latte palette from Dominique Cosmetics. Absolutely love this palette for the matte, especially. Keeping that. Gemini Melt Cosmetics. Gemini 2. I have one shadow that I mismatched, and Gemini 1, keeping both of these. These are really, really amazing palettes. And then we'll take all the Adept together. Let's do these. Wandering Soul from MBA Cosmetics, keeping that. Crimson Castle from MBA Cosmetics, keeping that. Let's talk Nabla Cosmetics. We have Wild Berry. I don't use it enough. I'm going to declutter that. Just holding on to things. Same with Platinum palette and same with Secret palette. Decluttering all three of them. Oh my gosh, I feel nauseous. Next we have the Nudie palette from Laura Lee Los Angeles. Decluttering this, I'm not using it enough. Bunny Love from Sugar Drizzle. This came this year, but I hardly ever use it. I'm going to declutter this. Tiny Marvels from Sydney Grace. Keeping this. This just reminds me of Mel. I don't think I can ever declutter that. The Mattes palette from Sugar Drizzle. It's a beautiful purple palette that performs so beautifully, but it is so repetitive. Should I even? I love these tones, but so repetitive. I'm gonna declutter this. It's Bell Cosmetics Cool Summer palette. Again, another beautiful color story, but this is not a palette that I reach out for much. I'm gonna declutter this. The Sun palette from Mad Witch Cosmetics. Again, there are aspects of this like the... Is this magnetic? Let's see. No, it's not. Okay, there are aspects of this that I absolutely love, like the shimmers. I'll see if I can depot a few shimmers out of this palette or not. But otherwise, I'm gonna declutter this. The Star palette from Mad Witch Cosmetics. Again, this shadow is the one that I absolutely love from this palette. The shimmers are really, really pretty. Like this is really pretty, this is really pretty, this is really pretty, this is really pretty. Again, similar vibes. I don't like the mattes as much. I'm decluttering this. This is from Beauty Moon Cosmetics, the Mantra palette. Again, very similar vibes. Love these shimmers, but not a big fan of the top half. Really like these shimmers, but Okay, I'm gonna declutter this and see if I can depot a few shadows that I really like. Major Dimension 2 palette. This is not going anywhere. I really love this palette. Keeping that. Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. I know it's an old palette, but I have so many things attached to it. I love the mattes. I'm gonna keep this. Okay, let's start off with Adept palettes. Minka, I'm gonna keep this. It's a very unique palette that I use for like glam looks, and I love the multi-chromes and these mattes here. Even the shimmers, like I really like some of the shimmer. I'm gonna keep this. Then we have Heather Austin palette from Adept Cosmetics, keeping that too. Beautiful color story. I feel like if I'm not keeping Subculture, I should definitely keep this. Pretty much the same vibes, but a little bit more elevated. Of course, keeping the Flying Fiddles palette, one of my favorite color story from Adept Cosmetics, as well as Unity palette. Beautiful, stunning shimmer shades. Keeping that. I don't think I'm decluttering anything from Adept that I have. Another color story, which is pink, blue, purple. So this is the reason why I could declutter the mattes palette from Sugar Drizzle. So let's keep Element 115 palette. The Minka Remastered palette. Beautiful, stunning color story. Keeping that. Then we have a bunch of Natasha Denona palettes. Again, these are palettes that I love to customize and wear, so keeping that. I need a nude palette. This is the Roxa palette from Natasha Denona. Again, I don't think I'm gonna declutter any Natasha Denona palettes. This is the Retro palette. Then we have My Dream palette. I need a Warm palette. Golden palette, Bloom palette. We have two minis, Love palette, and this is the Coral palette. Coral palette is actually destroyed. It's broken at my end, but I seriously love the shades in this palette, so I do want to keep that. But I am going to declutter the Love palette. I would rather let someone else use it. I hardly ever use the mini palettes from Natasha Denona. This was the only one that I kept, but I'm going to declutter that. And then finally we have the Dramatic palette from Natasha Denona. Mine is a little mismatched with the other palettes from Natasha Denona itself, but I like to keep it this way just so that I use it even more. Then we have the Supreme Nudes palette from Artist Couture. Keeping this. I love, oh my gosh, I bang the shadow. I'm going to keep that palette. I really love the sleek packaging of this. I really love that. Keeping that. Autumn Moon palette. This is very early on in my collection. I'm going to keep this. It's very recent edition. I'm going to keep that too. Okay. Now let's talk about Odin's Eye. I have a few palettes from Odin's Eye, keeping Jewels and Gems. It's a very unique color story in my opinion. Definitely keeping that. Giant Fulls palette. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Keeping this Red Dragon palette. Hummingbird palette. Decluttering Hummingbird, although I love this shade, Fancy. And also decluttering Giant Wolves. Are you proud of me? I'm so cutthroat today. I have a few smaller palettes here. I have a Tom Ford palette. This is the only Tom Ford palette that I have, which is a Nude Dip. Keeping this. Such a boring color story, I know, but this is the only Tom Ford palette, so I don't want to get rid of that. And this was a gift to me too, so keeping that. Makeup by Mario palette. I use it quite often. Definitely keeping that. Decluttering both of these Wet n Wild palettes. Absolutely loved my Glamour Squad and Call Me Sunshine palette, but it's time to get rid of this. Okay, let's talk about a few Too Faced palettes. I have 3 palettes from Too Faced. Pumpkin Spice palette. This was an era. This was like one of my favorite palettes from them. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna struggle. Chocolate Gold palette. I'm gonna declutter this. It's a very beautiful palette, but I hardly use it. And Born This Way, the Natural Notes palette. I'm gonna declutter this also. I would rather give it to someone who can use it. Oh my gosh, I love these tones so much. Yeah, decluttering this for sure. Thinking about pumpkin spice. This is gonna be a maybe, okay? I'm gonna still just hang on to it because I have some problems. Let me take this off and get the next batch. Okay, now let's talk about Gourmand Girls. I have a lot from Gourmand Girls. So let's begin with the bunch here. Nightshade palette. I really like this. It's a beautiful purple tone palette, which I want to keep. I really like these style of packaging from Gourmand Girls. Nueva Vida, this was in collaboration with Steph, and this palette is very beautiful. And another neon kind of palette, which I don't have much in my collection. I'm going to keep that. Frozen Kiss is one of my favorite palettes from them. I'm going to keep this. Spooked palette is where the love affair started for Gourmand Girls. Definitely keeping that. Silent Night. I feel I don't reach out for this palette so much. I feel I can get rid of this. We have the Bitten palette, which I really like. Very, very pretty palette. Definitely keeping that. Haunted palette. I really like these mattes a lot. Actually, this palette is beautiful. Let's keep that. This is Gourmandized palette. I love the shimmers here. Mattes not so much. I'm going to declutter this. And we have the Warriors Wear Pink palette. I really like the mattes in this palette. I'm going to keep this. Peach Perfect is another beautiful palette from them, which I'm going to keep. Okay. Now let's talk Blend Bunny Cosmetics. I have the Garden of Stars palette, which is an all shimmer palette from them. I love the PC shimmers that Blend Bunny does. Definitely keeping that. Longing palette, one of my favorite palettes from them. Really, really pretty. Keeping that. Beauty Below palette is a beautiful jewel tone palette. Very siren themed. Very, very pretty. Keeping that. Sugar and Grunge palette is one of my favorites from them. The color story wise, this is a beautiful palette. Then we have the Primal palette, another a neon color story, keeping that for sure. I don't think I have any Blend Bunny palettes that I would want to declutter because I really like the quality of the palette. ABH Norvina palette, this is the purple palette. I am going to keep this since I decluttered a lot of purple palettes already in my collection. I love the quality of this palette. Now let's take another bunch. What's a Beauty. I absolutely love What's a Beauty palettes. This is definitely my favorite among the two. This is the Geodes palette, but definitely keeping both of them. Cheery Up Beauty palette in collaboration with Freya. This is a stunning palette. Then we have two palettes from Fantasy Cosmetica, the Artificer palette as well as Cradled in Ice palette, keeping both of them. Love both of them. Then we have Singe Beauties. I have two palettes from them. Paisley Hood, their Spicy Neutral palette, and their Galactic Visitor palette, keeping both of them. This is an indie palette bunch that I don't think I'm going to declutter much. This is from Krypton Cosmetics. Their shimmer palette, this was called the Alta palette, keeping all of this. This is the Tulip Dream palette. This is not from this palette, this shade. It's from Seraph palette. I did revamp the Seraph palette a little bit just to keep it more of a winter time color story. I'll just show it to you. But let me just show you everything else. Violet Crazy. Beautiful purple palette. One of my favorites from them, Burnt Forest palette. Then we have the Atlantis palette. These are all magnetic palettes, so I can definitely mix and match. That's what I love about these palettes, and I love the quality of Krypton palettes. So definitely keeping all of them. This is Secret Garden 1 palette. Beautiful springtime palette. Emerald City. Me not being a green lover, I love this palette. Very, very pretty. And then we have the Sunset Symphony palette. we have the Secret Garden 2 palette. And then finally the Seraph palette, and this is a custom palette. It doesn't look like this. I just made a winter palette out of the palettes that I already had from Krypton Cosmetics. So there is a mix and match of palettes from here. I just wanted to get that red out of it and just make it my own color story. So this stays on my vanity just so that I show you guys all of the palettes together. I just bought everything, but that's my Krypton palettes. Let's talk about Glaminatrix palette. I have a bunch here. Berry palette, the green palette, blue palette. This packaging is coming off, but yeah, the blue palette. I really like these concise palettes, but there's something wrong with this packaging. It's, see, yeah. And then this is the neutral palette, which I often use. Then we have the Bonfire palette. Stunning, stunning color story. We have Into the Night palette. Rich Romantic palette. Sugar and Spice palette. This is like a maybe. Let's keep it on the side. Crown Legacy palette. Grounded palette. And Pretty in Pastels palette is another maybe. I really like these tones. Maybe this is another palette that I would declutter, but this is a maybe for now. Because these are magnetic, I can definitely see myself like grabbing for it. Oh, I'm gonna keep this. I love Glaminatrix. Barely Basic palette. Very beautiful fall time everyday color story, really pretty. And then Timeless Tones, beautiful cool tone color story, very, very pretty. And then finally we have the Nearly Naturals palette, everyday soft romantic palette. Keeping everything for now, but Pretty in Pastels and Sugar and Spice is in the maybe pile. And if I had to declutter from these smaller palettes, it is gonna be the blue palette, but I really like these shimmers, and the green palette. But yeah, keeping it for now. Let's talk about Huda Beauty. I do have the bigger palettes from Huda Beauty, which I absolutely love. I also have one palette before we start with Huda Beauty. Club Nebula palette from Kidos. This is not going anywhere. One of the subscriber actually sent it to me, and I love the mattes of this palette so very much. Definitely keeping this. Talking about Huda Beauty, Naughty palette, Icy Nude palette. I love Huda formulas. Seriously, pretty grunge. I was very, very sad when she said that she's not coming out with a bigger palette. Rose Quartz, Mercury Retrograde. Keeping all of them. Let's talk about Simply Posh Cosmetics palette. I have a bunch here. Okay, first we have Down to Earth palette. Beautiful earthy tone color story. Definitely keeping that. Aurora Lights palette. Another beautiful jewel tone color story. Genuine Gems was another beautiful jewel tone color story. This can be a maybe. But again, these Simply Posh Cosmetic palettes are magnetic. That's why I really like to keep them. Berry Icy palette. I love the berry tone side here. Citrus Punch. Fairy Tale Fairies might be another one that I can declutter. Yeah, I'll declutter this. Snow Angel palette. Very pretty. Cozy Cabin, one of my favorites from them. We have the Coastal palette. Very wearable, muted down color story. Black Cherry, totally my kind of color story. And then Gingerbread Bakery is their newest. Pastel-y with neutral tones. Keeping that. Now, let's talk about Ensley Reign palettes. Again, I have a bunch here, so I'm going to quickly run through it. I don't think I'm going to declutter any. Happy Go Lucky, Hedgehog, What the Fox. If I have to declutter one, it is going to be What the Fox, but I'm going to just keep it. And then Nutty by Nature, Bougie palette, Flutter palette, Flourish. Beautiful colorful palette, really love those. Wolf Moon was definitely one of my favorite palettes for 2025, as well as Snow Moon. Underland, you know how much I love Underland palette. Very unique color story, I really love this one too. Then we have Whispering Woods. Beautiful, like a earthy tone color story. Very, very pretty. This was such a big hit for the brand. Then we have the Glow palette. Love the shimmers in this palette so very much. Very, very pretty. And then we have the Shattered Looking Glass palette. Okay. And then we have a bunch of their 21 pan palettes. So let's go over that. We have the Strawberry Moon palette. Honestly speaking, this is not my color story, but I mix and match these shades so much that I don't want to get rid of it. Then we have the Harvest Moon palette. Light in Your Eyes palette, Spicy Neutral, very, very pretty. One among my favorites, Cold Moon palette. We have the Flower Moon palette. And another favorite of mine, Groovy Garden. Very pretty. Then we have a few more from them. We have the Cosmic Dreamer palette. Very pretty. This is what I love about Lands of Enchantment, the pastel tone palette. I really love the color story here. Very, very pretty. Then we have the next Lands of Enchantment 2 palette, which was more of a concise color story as compared to the other one, the original one. And then we have the Twisted Tea Party palette, which was their Halloween launch. Another beautiful, beautiful palette. Okay, let's talk Bella Beauty Bar. I have the Colossense palette, which I absolutely love. This was in collaboration with Nupur. Definitely not going anywhere. Poison Garden palette. Such a unique fall time color story. Very grungy. Very pretty. Then we have the Dead Roses palette, which was their Valentine's Day launch. But I really love the shimmers in this palette. Even the mattes, I really like these mattes so very much. Then we have the recently de-influenced palette. Keeping that. We have the Bejeweled palette from them, which was their jewel tone color story. Really like this palette. It's been discontinued at their end, but I really like it. Even this one, the Sun and the Sea palette. Really love the neutrally tones that are there in this. Very, very pretty. Okay, keeping all of this. I have 3 palettes from Cosmic Beauty. Tis the Season, Neutrals palette, and the Neutrals palette. All the neutral tones here. Very, very pretty. Okay, bunch of random palettes here. This one is from Kyma Cosmetics. This is the only Kyma Cosmetics palettes that I have. Frosted Fairy. I'm gonna keep that. We have Wicked Widow Beauty's Scissor Hands 2 palette. Very, very pretty. Stunning formula. The Crow palette from them. Keeping that too. And this is my favorite palette from them. This is the Tales of Terror palette. Keeping that too. We have Luna Beauty's Nude Prism palette. Definitely keeping this. Such a beautiful everyday romantic palette. This is from Melt Cosmetics. This is the Amorosa palette. Never wear it, so I'm going to declutter that. Let's talk some Unearthly palettes. I don't think I'm going to declutter any of them, but let me show it to you. Fall Magic. Don't Be Jelly palette. Sorcerer's Smoke. Such a beautiful everyday palette. Very, very pretty. Not Normal Remastered. Grungy palette. Just a Taste. Gargoyle. Beautiful cool tone palette. And Gothic Romance. Very underrated palette in my opinion. Very, very beautiful. We have a few Sigma palettes here. Cool neutrals. Very, very pretty palette. Then we have the Warm Neutrals palette. I hardly ever wear warm neutrals. Oh. Corda Rosa palette. Ambience palette. Keeping those. Can you see I'm struggling? From Pat McGrath, I have two palettes. Bronze Seduction, which I absolutely love and adore. This is not going anywhere. And this is the Celestial Odyssey palette. That I think it was 2021 holiday palette. But I hardly wear this. I'm going to declutter this. And then finally, we have the bunch for Nomad palettes. So let's go over this. Chicago Speakeasy. This is my favorite palette from them. I really love this. This is like my kind of color story. Absolutely beautiful. We have the Chris Kindle Matte palette, which is their Christmas palette for this year. Polar Express palette. Another cozy vibes. Berlin Underground palette, a grungy neutral palette, very, very pretty on the eyes. Fêtes de Provence palette, I don't use this much. I feel like I can declutter this. And then we have the America's Sparks palette. It's the same with this. I don't reach out for this palette all so much. I'm going to declutter this too. Now let's talk bigger palettes. Pacific Northwest. This was a stunning release for this year. Chamonix Après-Ski palette, another beautiful launch for their winter palette. Very pretty. Their Witch City Salem palette, stunning Halloween palette. Fairy Tales Europe palette, such a princessy vibes, very, very pretty. We have the Route 66 palette. Again, I feel like this is a very underrated palette. So those are the Nomad palettes that I am keeping. And that was my entire eyeshadow palette collection as well as declutter video. Let me tell you how many palettes did I declutter. I decluttered 43 palettes. I know it might not look a lot, but I feel like 43 palettes, decluttering them is a big deal. I feel like the rest of the palettes that I have in my collection, I absolutely love and adore. So I'm very happy with where I am going. But I still feel like if I have a few maybe palettes like these palettes, which I'll definitely keep in my mind. And if I'm not using it, I'll definitely declutter those too. I think I can declutter these two. Yeah. So 45. Count 45, okay? But that's all for today. If you did like my video, you know what to do. Do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so that you're notified every time that I post next. I generally upload 3 videos every single week, every Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 9 AM Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.